I went out, just stood on the street corner and talked to some folks with my Obama shirt on and my signs that said "Say No to Amendment 2." One that says "Yes, we can," and the other one that says "Support lupus awareness and to support invisible diseases." What I got in return was probably the most disgusting array of vile hatred I think I've ever heard. You know, I watched the news, I'd heard about it on the news, and I said, well, you know, maybe it's just the slant from whichever version of news I choose to watch, and sort of kind of hoped that somebody would say nasty things to me so that I could see if it was real. Boy, did I get an earful. This McCain rally occurred at the Maxwell C. King Center here in Melbourne, Florida, and there were lines and lines and lines of people waiting to go in to see McCain. And while I just stood out there, I talked to different people. I talked to some folks who were for McCain. Well, actually, I won't say some folks, only one, a nice older gentleman who actually took the time to speak to me and several other people. Of course, we weren't going to win him over, but, you know, at least he took the time to speak to us. And I spoke to a young man named Craig, who is not voting for Obama or McCain, but we did take a lot of time and sit and talk to each other about different things that were worrisome in our own lives. And behind me, this line of people just, who are my neighbors, they're my neighbors, screamed at me just some of the most horrific things you ever heard. I talked about lupus awareness and tried to discuss lupus awareness with some of the women who are ripe age to possibly suffer from this horrible disease. And what I got in return was shouts of baby killer, abortionist, that I'm un-American, and then, you know, it was horrific. I mean, this one guy came out from the line, came through a ditch, and walked up to me with his hand out, full of change, and said, well, apparently you need change. And I looked at him and I said, well, first of all, you're highly rude. Second of all, he needed a haircut and a shower, but that was quite another story. But I was just mortified that my own neighbors, the people who I live with, who I live near every day, could treat me in such an inappropriate fashion just because I had decided to make my choice known, which is something I've never done in any election ever. I've never stood on a street corner with a sign, and I decided to do that this year, and what I got in return was the worst that society could give me. My own narrow-minded Republican neighbors who can't discuss options with you. They just have to shout horrible things at you. And I was really upset. I was really sad that it's come to that. And then, you know, my husband, knowing that I had been out all day and whatnot, he decided he wanted to take me out to get something to eat. So we went over to something that sounds kind of like Napple Trees. Yeah, that place. And we go in the door, and I had already changed my shirt. I was wearing my Game Over shirt, but I still had my Obama Biden pin on, and I had my Someone I Love Has Lupus pin. And I walked in the door, and there was just this sea of red shirts because they had all just come from the rally, and the dirty looks that I got from the children that were with these people were disgraceful. I can't believe that people are being, you know, using their children as pawns and teaching their children to be hateful of someone who has a differing opinion than you. You know, it doesn't make my opinion wrong, doesn't make their opinion right. It's just our opinion. And they're teaching their children to be just evil, mean-spirited people. And I was sad. I was sad to be an American today. I was proud because I had taken a stand and gone out there and put myself in harm's way to get out my information and show my support for my candidate. And anybody who had a red shirt on, my information about lupus fell on deaf ears. They couldn't listen to me talk about an issue that had absolutely nothing to do with politics. It was just a media for me to get the word out about lupus and about funding research. But because obviously if I want to fund research for lupus, then I am pro stem cell research, so that makes me a baby killer and an abortionist. And apparently they have a real issue with figuring out how you can be pro-choice and not be pro-abortion. You know, I've made myself perfectly clear. I tried to do it with these people today, that my opinion is that I am morally opposed to abortion, but I would prefer that people have a choice to do with what they will on their own bodies. And apparently they felt that I was evil incarnate and I couldn't be spoken to unless it was yelling abortionist at me. So that was my brief moment in political history, and it made me, for a couple of minutes there, sad about the America that I live in today. And that's what I have to say about that.
Then you'll share a rate review. Watch more Fox News. Then you'll share a rate review. Watch more Fox